Welcome. This is the TTT News Special, and I want to start off with two sayings in the sense that the youth are the future, as well as the fact that it takes a village to raise a child. And with that, I'm very happy to have joining us Mr. Francis Julong McComie, who for the rest of this conversation, we refer to him as Julong. And we also have Julong's daddy, Anthony McComie. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Hi, pleasant evening, Mr. Rostan. How are you going?
Please, DK works. When people say Mr. Ross, I think about my father.
Okay.
All right, now, to start off with, because the man of the moment is Julong, so I want to ask, how are you doing, and whether or not, how is home going, and how is school at home for you right now? So just before you answer that question, Julong, we want to pull Daddy in, and apparently there's a story about how he started singing. So let us in on some of the information now.
Okay, well, it's a pleasure to be here this evening, and Francis started, when did you start singing?
I started singing at the age of 7 at the time, when I was returning from vacation by my grandmother. When my mother noticed I was singing the majority of the songs on the radio, she then asked me if I would like to start singing and if I would like to join a music school. That's when I started at the Woodruff School of Music. And there was when I did my first performance at the school's Christmas concerts.
All right, and did you start playing guitar at the same time?
No.
Or was that after?
That was in the height of the COVID pandemic, and yes. So, we had to deal with all the issues, with the online classes, all the technical issues. I mean, the school, Sacred Heart boys, they came to the forefront, the teachers, the principal, the vice principal. I can't speak anything bad. They all rose to the forefront and everything just started to go seamless. And well, of course, boredom started. that's when Francis started. What month did you start in?
I started in the month of March.
So that's March 2020?
2020, yes, early. And how was the practice and school?
I started to learn guitar in 2020 in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. From March, I practiced 15 minutes every day. That taught me the method and chords, and within 3 months, I was able to sing and play together.
Julong, I'm feeling bad, boy. I wonder if I could do the same in 3 months. But one of the things though is that I know though, Anthony, is that you have instruments around.
Yes.
You're involved with music. So do you think that had any part to play? Because sometimes it's nurture, but sometimes it's just nature is inbuilt because the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree sometimes,
Well, DK, I have some ideas on top of that. Remember, children were not asked, they didn't ask to come here, first of all. And, they are basically empty vessels. And what you instill or what you put into your children is what you're going to get back. And what I used to do, I used to play music as a baby for him. I used to play a lot of Andrew Tank. That's what he used to go to sleep with, Andrew Tanker, Basement Party, and a lot of Johnny Mathis, Nat King Cole, but coming a little further along, I've always had musicians at my house. We've had Lujo and the Gifted Nigel, who has his a good friend, family member he comes across. And he has always been surrounded by positive individuals. And I would like to say, I was blessed by having a lot of wonderful mentors in my lifetime. And it's the same thing with Francis. When they saw Francis play and sing, they were like, hey, seriously, he's only 7 years old. and it's like, wow. And which it brings back, this pandemic really hit home hard. It hit the music industry, it hit the artist very hard, even to the point where we as an artsy group, are prone to depression. But surprisingly, all of the individuals, when they heard him play, something sparked inside them, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this reminded me of when I was younger." And they all jumped on this little project that we started, which is his first song, which was inspired by who was it inspired by?
Inspired by my dad, Lujo and the Gifted, Nigel Rojas.
Who started, or when it started, with the COVID and Mr. Peters?
When Mr. Peters was explaining a new topic called creative writing.
No, all this is online.
My dad used it as an example to start writing songs, and
well, the rest is history. We started putting music together, and I called across my guys, which was Luke and Joshua Samuelson. We thought that Nigel would be a wonderful addition to it, and Nigel said, "Hey, anything for Francis," and he just made it happen. The proactivity of the artist, their resolve, picking sunshine out of desolation, and it was amazing. And I have so many people to thank. Well, we have so many people to thank, especially for their tutelage. We have Uncle CJ, Carl Jacobs. We have Mr. Ahong, which is, if you excuse me a second, I have a list.
That's Chasu.
Yeah, that is Chasu, the man himself. They've over the names, Okay. Yeah. So Richard now, he's running a company called Stream Stage Audio. And that's Richard Chasu Ahong. We have Lujo, which is Luke and Joshua Samuelson of the band Lujo and the Gifted, which is, also part of the Chasu family. We have our own homegrown boy, Nigel Rojas from the band Orange Sky, We have Gareth Pollard, AKA Mr. Music. Gary played keyboards on the track. He also runs Pulsate Music Production. He was in charge of keyboards and mixing and mastering. Oh, by the way, the song was actually produced by myself and Luke Samuelson. I think I sent you a copy.
Yes. So we'll play a bit of that in just a moment. Actually, I think we'll go to that now, but just before we go to the break though, when we come back, apart from finding out some more about the song, someone was saying that they made a prayer because they're an artist, and they were praying that they hope that their child does not walk the same path for various reasons. But it seems as though you have slightly different views about it. But we'll get to that when we return. We are speaking with Julong and Anthony McComie. Stay with us. We return with more. welcome back. We are speaking with Julong and Anthony McComie, and you just heard a little something to whet the appetite. So, in terms of saying, okay, well, the people who wrote the song, still, it's one thing to say, all right, well, we're going to write a song as an exercise in creative writing, but to actually move through and get that buy-in and see so many people come on board with this project. You started talking about it, and I'll just let you continue before we have Mr. Julong Ramage again, please, Anthony.
Okay, briefly, as I said, it started off as a creative writing process. And I said, you know what, exactly what your teacher taught you is exactly what I do in terms of my writing. From there, I have one guy, as I said, Luke and Joshua Samuelson, where I trade off ideas with them. And, from there, everything just evolved. I do recall several times they came across and gave tuition to Francis. They would sit down with him one-on-one, trade off chords, and they sat down there mesmerized, with his playing.
And Julong, I want to ask you though, in terms of how do you feel actually hearing the song and saying, okay, well, that's me.
How do you feel?
And I smile because sometimes it feels as though it's easier to sing than to speak. And I know, so I have a friend, he has the worst stutter in the world, and when he starts to sing, everything just goes. So in terms of, I don't know if it might make more sense to have you sing at this point in time. We get a little piece.
Yes, sure, not a problem.
All right, so we get a little bit of that, thank you. I'm not sure if you're going to do the same song because I heard there's also an Ozzy Osbourne that you do. So waiting to see what it is you bring and what it is you give us right about now.
Go ahead, have fun. Introduce the song.
The name of this song is Ozzy Osbourne, Dreamer.
Okay. Yes, don't get them anything more for free. Shots, one to them as well. But Anthony, how do you feel witnessing this journey as well as being a part of it? And I say that harking back to the question I asked with someone saying, okay, well, if it happens, it happens. But they were praying, actively praying, the Lord, please don't make my child an artist.
What can I say? Many times I have been brought to tears. As any parent, I'm just full of pride and joy. I'm so ecstatic seeing Francis's development, and how this little individual character, how he has flourished, and bloomed, because of the support and teaching of his mother. myself, his teachers, all these other mentors that I've spoken about, and that just goes back to what we were discussing sometime. It takes a village to raise a child, and sadly we have forgotten that. We are all taken back by how much we can make, what clothes we wear, all of that sort of stuff, but we forget this is the future. This is our heritage, our legacy. Oh, I have to mention, we're all Belmont born, Belmont bred,
Okay.
and yes, there is going to be something extremely special happening, on the 10th of July, a concert that is going to be highlighting the Belmont community and, the different artists and executives and all the talent that has emerged from this particular area, you know. But one thing, if we're not running out of too much time, one thing that I try to instill in my son, aside from, the initial values, is we have one saying that we, before the end of the day is finished, what is it we say?
Be better than yesterday.
Better than yesterday, meaning that every day is a blessing. We have to thank God, you know, because there's so many people dropping right now because of this pandemic. Please, people, for the sake of your loved ones, follow the protocol. Listen to Uncle Rowley. you know, they know what they're talking about. Wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. Because just last week I lost good one of my good schoolmates. That was Jamie Thomas. Jamie and I grew up, from the days of party time. And, I watched him grow from strength to strength, when Isaac 98.1, up until, a couple of weeks ago we chatted and Jamie's a CEO. And then all of a sudden there's no more Jamie. And I can count on my hand easily, the number of friends that I have lost within the last couple of
There's
yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
something, and
it is difficult. It is really difficult, but when I look at my two children, I look at Francis, I look at my daughter Kimberly, and I consider myself extremely blessed. And I just have to say thank you.
and that's one of the things sometimes in the sense that they say what a meteor pass you, but at the same time, it also brings into question what is necessary, what is essential, because
It's it,
the singers and players of instruments and those people who craft and play the anthems, be it for a country or an individual, to continue putting one foot in front of the other. It is something that is so crucial at this point in time. But speaking of art and artistry, though, apart from just playing and showing off on people, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that this is just is well 3 months. There's also some visual art that is happening.
yes, yes, yes. A good friend of mine, that's Daniel Dipentella. I don't know if you know her. That's Kessa's sister.
Yeah.
He is responsible for Westwood Park, number one in Trinidad. She is going to be doing the script for the video, God willing. We're still in discussion, and we have
And we'll
already.
continue those discussions though, in the sense that this discussion sadly has come to an end, but we want to thank you so much, both Anthony for bringing Julong to our attention and for Julong for being a part of it. And we're looking forward to your evolution from strength to strength. And on behalf of the entire news team, I want to thank you for joining us. Have a lovely one.